Please let me know when you can see me.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So let's continue. So we're able to look at what we call pseudo classes. So these are what we call pseudo classes. Once you have the selector, you have colon, then something, the state. This is a focus state. Focus simply means when you click on an input, say something like this is focus. Valid when you type in something that is valid because HTML5 comes with validation. Then we also have hover, like this image allies that enabled us to, once we click on, once we hover over this, it makes movement. This is hover state. So you can also have something called visited state. You can have linked state, link that is not visited. You can also have active state. So those are the various pseudo classes. We call them pseudo classes. Very, very important. So I want you to understand the difference between what we call pseudo classes. So there are two of them, pseudo classes and what we also call pseudo elements. So we looked at pseudo classes. Now I want us to look at pseudo elements. So pseudo classes and pseudo elements. So in pseudo classes, you normally use something like this. Then you can have your hover. So once you put the selector, say you say A, then hover. That means whenever you hover an anchor tag, that's the meaning. If you say P dot hover, that means whenever you hover on a paragraph tag. So you can have hover effect, you can have visited for a link, you can also have what we call active for a link. So active is when you've selected the link. So you can have visited, you can also have an unvisited link. So for an unvisited link, you simply say a dot link. So this is a link that is not visited. So like these are our links now. If we want to have the decoration for the one that is not visited, so we can, the one that is active, you can do this. The one that is visited, you can do this. So the one that you're hovering on, which we've already done, you can use this. So these are the various pseudo classes. So in pseudo classes, you're using only colon, one single colon. But in pseudo elements, you're going to be using two colons. So take note of the pseudo element. In pseudo classes, you use it to style these different states of an element. So if the state is hovered, if it is selected, if it is visited, if it is active, those are different states that a particular element can be in. But in pseudo element, the use is different. You use it to style the first letter or line of an element. That's what you use this one to do. So you can use this to style the first letter or line of an element, say p tag or anything. That's one of the uses. So that's one of the uses you can use this for. Then another very important, which is the most likely use that you'll be using it, is to insert a content before and after the content of an element. So you can use it to also do what? Insert. Very important. And we're going to try this now. Insert content. So use it to insert content either before or after the content of an element. So use it to insert an extra content after or before the content of an element. So let's try to practice this now. So let's say we have our paragraph tags. So say this one now. If we make this big, you're gonna see our paragraph. So this is our paragraph. Let's say we want to insert dot 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 after this dot dot dot. after this very paragraph. So this is a place, that's a place where we have paragraph. So let's say we want to insert dot 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 after this very p tag. So how do we do it? So we can simply get back. So we'll target our p tag. So let's target our p tag and insert something after it so that we can learn how to use this. So this is what we call pseudo elements. So pseudo elements, they use double. So if you are using a pseudo element now, you're gonna be having something like double of this. You say after. If you're inserting after, if you're inserting before, you use this before. So that is how you use your pseudo element. So it could be after, it could be before. You can also use it for first, like I said before, to start your first line. So say you want to start first line, you do like this, double this first line. You can see it here, first line. So you can also do something like that. So those are the places where you use that. Okay, so what I want us to do is that I want us to be able to, in the next class, I want us to be able to do media query. Media query is very, very important because in media query, we will be able to style our application in case if we, let's say now we open up this. Now if you right click and click on inspect, you're going to see the developer tool. And apart from seeing this developer tool, you're going to see how this is going to look. If you click here, this is a mobile view, this is bigger mobile, this is tablet view. You can see it's written here tablet, and this is the normal view. So we're gonna be able to write CSS that will take care of these different views. So we're gonna be doing that on media query. So that will be the next thing we're gonna be doing. Okay, but before I do that, let me quickly demonstrate this. So let's say I say the p tag, I say after. Once you say after, you want to introduce a content. That's what you do. If you use the after or before, you're introducing a new content. So once you're using after or before, you're introducing a new content. So I can simply say content. So what content am I introducing after every p tag? So I simply want to introduce dot dot dot. So save this. So if I make this bigger now, so you see after this p tag, I'm introducing dot dot dot. See it here, dot dot dot. So that is that for that. So you can also do similar thing for before. If I copy this exactly the way it is, come down here, and instead of after, I have before. If I save this now, make this bigger, you see it's coming in front here. So that is how you use the before and after. So like I said, it's not the only thing we can use them to do. We can also use it to style the first letter or line. So you can use it to style the first letter or the first line. So this is having just one line, but assuming it's having two lines, you can use it to style two. Or if it's having one letter, you can style this first letter and you can make it bolder. Okay? And in order to do that, so I can target the P tag and target the very what? First letter. So it can either be first letter or first line. So what do I want now? I want to color of this first letter now to change and become, say, let's say this very red that we have here. I'll copy it. That's what I want the color to be. And I want the font size to be bigger. So say 50 pixels. So if I save this now, okay, you can see that this is now big. This dot dot dot, but let me remove this before. Let me have only after dot 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 so that it can actually take effect on. You can see this is big now. So I'm using it to style the first letter. So that's another use of pseudo elements. So know the difference between pseudo elements and pseudo class. Pseudo classes, they have just one single column and they are for states, different states, whether it's visited, active, link, hover effect, and the rest. Whereas pseudo elements have double this and they can be used to put something before or after, as well as style the first line and first letter. So two things, first line or what? First letter. Okay, so that is it about pseudo classes and pseudo elements. So I'm going to let you practice this. And you can see our website is looking pretty good. So do one or two more things on it. Then we'll start developing the other pages. Are you okay with that? Can I stop sharing?
Yeah, I'm fine.